Hello everyone, my name is Sarah and I'm on a 30 days challenge to draw characters until I get hired. It's a difficult challenge that I have set out to do, and I never thought that it's gonna get more difficult as I go along. I thought that maybe I will get used to it and it will get easier and easier, but that was a false assumption because when you start doing something, you want to get better at it. So every single day, the pressure is not gonna go away. It's gonna get bigger and bigger. Now you expect that you're gonna draw better characters, you're gonna get better at anatomy, you're gonna get better at coloring, you're gonna get better at this, and at least my expectation was to get so much better like every single day. Like if I draw something today, tomorrow is gonna be like exponentially better, and that's what I thought that would happen, and I created that expectation around that concept. And that concept of being so much better every single day is kind of like beginning to make me stressed out in a way. I'm like constantly just trying to get back to work and make this work that I'm doing pleasing to myself first, and then I expect that you guys also love it. Like I am working under these pressures that I don't want to work under. Like I know that my best work comes when there's no pressure, there's no expectation, and I'm not focusing on being perfect. That's when my work is going to be of high quality, because then I would be putting all of my attention to that work and not the expectation. Because like holding an expectation inside of your mind, it's like losing your energy and focusing on the wrong thing. But at the same time, if you have no pressure, like if you have no pressure to do something, then you're gonna just put it off. You're gonna say, I'm gonna get back to it when I get a spark of motivation or inspiration. And that's not gonna happen, because one thing that you need to know is that every idea that comes to your head, it comes when you go into action mode and engage with the work. And that's when you're the most creative. But you need to know that you have to be focused. Focus and creativity, they are just close friends. If you're focused on a task, it's more likely that you're going to end up creating new ideas and making dots connect. And that's when your work is going to be the most brilliant piece of work that you've ever done, because now you have come up with something novel, and that only came because you were so focused on it. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be focused on the work itself, not focused on the challenge. I don't want to be thinking that this is a challenge. I want to be thinking that this is something that I want to do every single day, and I need to focus on that specific day. I don't need to say to myself that, oh my God, I have like 25 days left and what am I gonna do and all of that. But like what I'm gonna do is to just be inside the process, to just narrow my attention and take it one day at a time. And that's the most productive use of my energy. It's gonna make me much more creative, because now my attention is narrowed, and when you're laser focused on something, it's more likely that I create new ideas faster. And the way I come up with ideas for my character design is to just look at other artists' work and also look at some cinematic photos and try to dissect what sort of element is drawing my attention. It's really important to be focused and to be enjoying that process, because if you don't love the work, then your brain is going to be just so lazy at creating ideas. I've been in those situations in which I'm doing it because I am forced to do it, and no idea comes because I'm reluctant. Like I internally don't have any ambition for the project at hand, and then nothing really works. So I try to not focus too much on the challenge, because 30 days, how am I supposed to do that? But if you actually take it one day at a time, like day 1 is actually the day 30 as well. Like there's no difference between day 1 and day 30 if you're actually focusing on the daily. But that's still hard, because you have to train your mind to think like that. And all of this has been such a struggle to me. I mean, like my sleep schedule is like I said before, I sound like a broken record, but it's so bad. It's like I am only getting 5 hours of sleep, even though I need like 8 hours hours of sleep to function properly. Like, I'm gonna be feeling a little bit tired. And what I do to even, be able to work when I have only 5 hours of sleep, and it's not recommended. I'm not saying that anybody out there should be doing this. It's that I consume a bit of caffeine, and that's not in the form of coffee because I kind of fooled myself into thinking that I quit coffee. But I have replaced it with dark chocolate and cocoa powder. I add cocoa powder to my oatmeal every morning, and that seems to be having a bit of caffeine effect, and also a little bit of dark chocolate. Dark, like 90% dark. And I used to be a very heavy coffee drinker because I love making coffee. I love even brewing it, and I love the smell. I love everything about coffee. It's just my heavenly place on earth. When I made coffee, it was like, okay, I have to grind the coffee first, and that seems to be a pleasing process in and of itself. And then you get to brew it, and you get to make it much more interesting by adding maybe ice to it, making an iced latte, which was my favorite thing to do. I mean, I loved it. And I just would be able to wake up in the morning just for the coffee, for the sake of coffee. Coffee would be the motivator for being an early person. And I would add interesting elements to it. I would add a bit of dark chocolate to it. I would add spices to it sometimes. I can remember it clearly that I was obsessed with it, and I wanted to actually become a barista. And I still have this dream of becoming a barista. If I had any opportunity to become a barista, I would do it for about a few months because I want to know how it is. Like, am I ever gonna get tired of smelling the coffee? Because I don't think so. I think it's exciting. I think you can manage to be creative with it, and I don't know, create so many interesting combinations. And that's the exciting part of it, because there's infinite ways of making coffee, and you can make a coffee very tasty, that like overwhelming in a way. And I would make coffee every morning, but every morning I would add another spin on it. It was so interesting. And why do I mention that? I mention that because that was a work that I did just because I was interested in the act. I didn't have any end goal. I didn't have any purpose for it. It was pure joy, pure interest, pure creativity, and pure passion for coffee. And I wanted to do it because it was amazing. I wanted to brew coffee every morning because it was amazing. And I was getting so good at it just because I was following my own curiosity without any expectation. The purpose was pure because I am not trying to get anything out of it. I'm just trying to brew coffee. That's it. Like, I was living in that moment for that moment. And I am not saying that you don't need to set a goal for anything. In fact, setting a goal is really important, but once you set the goal, forget about it and do the process. Fall in love with the process. That's what is going to get you to the goal. And you thinking about the goal is just getting you farther away from the goal because you're not actually focusing on what you need to do to reach that goal. It's so paradoxical, but that's just the way we think. We orient ourselves in the process, not the goal. The goal just is an illusion. It just comes as a side effect of the process. It's not what we need to focus on. And it takes time to train the brain to perceive the world through the process, not the goal. Not the goal. Goal doesn't really matter. The process makes you settle down, makes you calmer, makes you actually be content with what you have and work on what can be done. And that's all we can do. Especially in this challenge, I need to really train my mind to focus on every day, not the overall goal of getting hired or having this 30 days of challenge. That would be like so much for me to bear in my mind. I would not be able to have enough energy to put into work if I focus on that 30 days altogether. And yeah, that was today. I'm so grateful for what happened today, and tomorrow hopefully we can do better. Everybody can do better. I mean, that's why tomorrow exists. And I'm so grateful that all of you guys have been so kind to me throughout this whole challenge, and you've been giving me energy to continue on and not give up. And I am grateful for your support. Thank you so much. I hope that I can see you in the next video. Have a nice day and stay creative.